Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Iskosi Umfundisi, back at it once again. You know what I'm saying? Kicking it, you know what I'm saying? Before I get into that, though, I'd like to thank my ancestors for, giving me the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And, having me continue on and just do this journey and this progression that we call life, you know what I'm saying? And its manifestation of Iskosi Umfundisi, an African. And also, I'd like to thank you, the subscriber, the watcher, the viewer, for, watching and hoping you learn something. Now, this one is called Black Republicans. Excuse me, check that. Black Democrats. Are they race first? Now, we're going to look at this story. This story kind of developed earlier this week, and we're going to look a little bit more into it. Rep. Karen Bass elected to lead growing Congressional Black Caucus. California Democrat replaces Republican Rep. Cedric L. Richmond. As you see the picture right there, the Rep. Karen Bass of California, the leader group, into the Congress. This happened November 28th of 2018. Members of the Congressional Black Caucus elected California Democrat Rep. Karen Bass to lead in the next Congress as the group crossed a milestone of 50-member threshold. The CBC is adding 9 new members, bringing the total of its membership to 55. Bass, who is currently serving as the caucus second vice chair, replaces Louisiana Democratic Rep. Cedric L. Richmond, who took the helm of the caucus in late 2016. There is much work to be done in the Congress to ensure equality and justice for African Americans and other marginalized communities. Let me repeat this again. There is much work to be done in the next Congress to ensure equality and justice for African Americans and other marginalized groups. And I am confident Congresswoman Bass will continue to provide a strong leadership in this regard, Richmond said in this statement. Since its formation in 1971, the CBC has been dominated by Democrats. The group focus of serving African Americans and other marginalized populations in recent years has pursued legislative priorities, including criminal justice reform, education opportunities, affordable health care, and addressing racial disparities in healthcare and health outcomes. The CBC holds significant power within the Democratic caucus, and chairmanship can be launched and padded into the party leadership positions. The current assistant Democratic leader, Louisiana Rep. James E. Clyburn, is a former CBC chairman member of the CBC and our chairman. And members of the CBC is expected to chair 5 Houses committee and 28 subcommittees in the next Congress. Bass was first elected to our Los Angeles area seat in 2010. She previously served 6 years in the California State Assembly, where in 2008, she became the first African-American woman to be Speaker of any state legislature. Bass is set to lead the House Foreign Affairs Subcommittee on Africa, Global Health, Global Rights, and International Organization in the new Congress, which will give her a platform to promote foreign policy initiatives to build any capacity in African countries. She also serves as the House Judiciary Committee, which has jurisdiction over criminal justice legislation and voting right proposals. Okay. Now, let's look a little bit more into Karen Bass. You know what I'm saying? She's an American politician serving representative of the California 37th Congressional District since 2013, a member of the Democratic Party, and she represents the 33rd Congressional District from 2011 to 2013. So let's see what we're gonna find out about her. Okay, let's see what we can find out more about Karen Bass. All right, she was ineligible to run for re-election in 2010 due to term limits, and on February 18th, 2010, confirmed her candidacy to succeed retiring U.S. Representative Dana Watson in the California 33rd Congressional District. She raised about $900,000 and spend half of that, more than half of that, in a contraband contribution. 5 of our major donors to her campaign are labor unions, right, with $100,000, financial institutions, right, because she wasn't stopping financial. They funded her campaign, $90,000, healthcare professionals with $87,000, the entertainment industry with $52,000, and lawyers and firms for $48,000. She won her election with 86% in 2010. In 2012, she had no primary opponent. But let's not forget that who funded her campaign. Let me say it again. The 5 major donors to her campaign were labor unions, financial institutions, health professionals, entertainment industry, law, and lawyers and law firms. 2012, she didn't have no opponent. You know what I'm saying? But she raised up money, you know what I'm saying, of course, $500,000 You know what I'm saying? And overspent, having a debt. Bass was considered a potential running mate for Bernie Sanders had he won a 2016 Democratic presidential nominee. This would have made her the first African American nominated for vice president by any major party. Her committee assignments, you know what I'm saying? She's on the Judiciary Committee, Subcommittee of Courts, Intellectual Property, and the Internet. Okay. Subcommittee on Crime, Terrorism, Homeland Security, and Investigations. The Committee of Foreign Affairs, Subcommittee on Africa, Global Health, Human Rights, ranking member. Subcommittee on Oversight and Investigations. Now, here's our caucusships. Now, even though she's a black woman, she's part of the American Sikh Caucus, right? The Congressional Black Caucus, of course, because she's a black woman. The Congressional Asian Pacific Caucus, and the Congressional International Conservative Caucus. Well, let's look a little bit more into these caucuses, shall we? Okay, this first one we're gonna look into is the American Shika Conference. You know what I'm saying? Congressional Caucus, which I did not know. They had their own Shika. Launched by Judy Chu, a California Democrat, and David Vallejo, Republican of California. The American Shika Congressional Caucus focused on the interests of the American Shika community. The caucus seeks to address issues such as military discrimination, violence, and bullying the Shikas, and raising the awareness of Shika and their contributions to America. On May 22nd, 2014, the caucus had Rep. John Mendy of California and Pat Minahan of Pennsylvania as co-chairs. Let's see who their members are. All right, got Karen Bass right there. John Connors, you know what I'm saying? Keith Ellison. Wow. Al Green, the guy from Texas. Come on now. Barbara Lee. Really? Wow. Those are people that I just know I'll rip off the names thus far. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of weird. Devin Nunes, stuff like that. That's kind of weird. But let's go back and look at the other ones that she's a part of. This is Karen Bass, the group she's a part of. It's Democratic Party race first. Now, this is another one she's a part of, the Congressional Asian Pacific American Caucus. The Congressional Asian Pacific American Caucus was founded May 16, 1994 by former Congressman Norman Minta. Is a bicameral caucus consisting of members of the United States Congress who have a strong interest in promoting Asian American, and Pacific Islanders (API) issues and advocating concerning Asians, Americans, and Pacific Islanders. While a CAPA describes itself as nonpartisan, all the current members are Democrat, though such past members such as Joseph Chow have been Republicans. The caucus generally includes members of the East Asian, Southeast Asian, South Asian, or Pacific Island descent, and members with a high concentration of Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders in their district, and with those in interest of API issues. Okay, they chairs Judy Chu, you know what I'm saying? But let's look at their membership. Mostly out of California, got a couple spots in Michigan, you see here in Illinois. But let's look at their leadership, you know what I'm saying? Tammy Duckworth. Camilla Harris. Camilla Harris on the board. Al Green again, you know what I'm saying? Democrat of Texas. Barbara Lee, Karen Bass. Keith Ellison. Carol Maloney. A lot of these people, so, Maxine Waters. Okay. Well, let's see the other group she's a part of. All right, this Congressional Black Caucus is the last group we'll look at she made of. It's a caucus made of mostly African-American members of the United States Congress. Representative, Cedric Richmond from Louisiana has chaired the caucus since 2017. The founders, Chersey Chisholm, Bill Clay, John Connors, Charles Diggs, people like that. Let's look at what their goals are. The caucus describes its goals as positively influence the course of events pertinent to African Americans and other similar experiences and situation, in achieving greater equality for persons of African descent, and design and consent of domestic and international program services. Now let's look at these goals. The caucus described its goals as positively influencing the course of events pertinent to African Americans and others of similar experience and situations. Now, if you notice, the and others of similar situations, you don't have that with the Asian and the Shikas. They were strictly for the the Shikas and the Asians. And achieving greater equity for persons of African descent and the design and content of domestic and international programs and services. The CBC capitulates these goals in the following priority: closing the achievement and opportunity gaps in education, assuring quality health care for every American, and focus on employment and economic security, and ensuring justice for all, retirement for all, security for all Americans, and increasing welfare funds, and increasing equity in foreign policy. Now, when you read the other thing, they don't need to read no more, because when you read the other stuff, they talking about all American. They ain't talking about all American. They talking about Asian Americans only, Shika Americans only. You know what I'm saying? And you got Negroes in these groups. You know what I'm saying? But then when you just read the CBC thing, the Congressional Black Caucus, which I read right here, you know what I'm saying? They ain't showing stuff for every American and security for all Americans. You know what I'm saying? So is this party really race first? Does it really have black people interests in mind? We got to talk and think about that. You know what I'm saying? We truly got to stop and think about that. Our congressional leadership is not race first on either Republicans or the Democratic side. They saying they're doing for other marginalized groups and all this stuff, Yazzie Splicky and stuff like that. But when you look at these other groups, they doing it just for themselves. I done showed you the Asian American caucus, and I showed you the Shika caucus. They're doing it straight for their issues, while ours is just, going for wherever the money goes, it takes them. Anyway, this is a Cold Scale Fun Day. So hopefully you enjoyed this little message around. I still got some more stuff on this, but I hope you enjoyed this. Y'all have a wonderful day, and I hope you learned something. Peace.